You missed this in Paris. Roman Reigns, stretchered out after the most brutal beating of his career. John Cena defied time itself to deliver a farewell masterclass. And Seth Rollins only walked out champion thanks to a shocking betrayal from Becky Lynch. Clash in Paris wasn't chaos. It was history rewritten. La Défense Arena. August 31st, 40,000. Fans packed into Paris. This wasn't just another premium live event. It was Europe demanding to be the center of WWE's universe. Roman's aura. Cena's farewell. Rollins' survival. Every act tonight had legacy written on it. Bronson Reed proved power translates in any market. Death Valley Driver. Sit-out powerbomb. Paris wasn't just watching, they were counting 3. And for the first time, Roman looked mortal. Europe saw cracks in God mode. A Superman punch, a spear. But Reed didn't stay down. The psychology here? Roman had to go beyond his playbook. That aura of inevitability? It broke. And if God mode can break in Paris, where else can it break? Reigns guillotined Heyman. Years of betrayal finally snapped. Paul begged. Paris roared. And Roman's vengeance became closure. But it was a dangerous trade. Closure made him vulnerable. Bron Breakker exploded into the match, spearing Roman through the announce table. Momentum wasn't just shifting. It was being stolen. Bronson hit his tsunami splash on Roman's broken body. Paris gasped. Stretcher time. But Breakker speared him again, even strapped down. Roman's mortality was no longer theory, it was reality. This wasn't nostalgia. Nikki. This was ruthless Nikki. Bella. Fearless lock. Bella Buster on steel steps. Paris gasped. Becky's arm nearly snapped. Becky rallied. Superplex, disarm her, but Nikki countered every escape. Psychology. Becky had to dig into her man identity. Not flash, not finesse, pure survival. How many careers has Becky saved? Tonight she had to save her own. Manhandle slam. Paris erupted. Becky retained. But note this, later that night, she'd save Rollins the same way she saved herself here. Legacy through loyalty. Montez Ford's sword. Dawkins battered. Paris was alive. For a moment, they looked like champions in waiting. Nikki Cross slithered from under the ring. Uncle Howdy struck with Sister Abigail. Prophets beaten not by weakness, but by chaos itself. Paris learned, the Wyatt Sicks don't need wrestling. They weaponize fear. And if chaos controls the tag division, who's safe? Barrels, tables, chairs. This wasn't wrestling, it was a Donnybrook. Rusev choked Sheamus with the accolade atop whiskey barrels. Sheamus elbowed free. White noise through 2 tables. Paris roared. Brogue kick out. Shillelagh shattered. Second accolade locked in. And for only the second time in his career, Sheamus tapped. Silence in Paris. The Celtic Warrior was finally broken. Logan's loaded right hand mocked Cena's shuffle. Hidden AATs. Paris gasped. For a heartbeat, Logan was the new face. Cena countered with a Styles clash, a nod to AJ Styles. Legacy layered on legacy. Paris thundered. Big Match John wasn't just surviving, he was teaching. Cena dragged Logan up, nailed the Avalanche AA. 1, 2, 3. Paris exploded. But the ovation wasn't just for victory. It was farewell. Cena bowed to Europe one final time. Uso battered. Knight roared. Punk landed GTS. Rollins' knee buckled. Every fan thought Paris was about to crown a new champion. Punk hoisted Seth for the final GTS. Then, a low blow. Paris froze. Becky Lynch. One stomp later, Rollins retained. A betrayal wrapped as loyalty. Was this love or manipulation? Crowd split. Celebs stunned. Rollins survived, but only because of Becky. The visionary became the beneficiary. From Reed's tsunami, to Cena's farewell, to Becky's betrayal, Paris wasn't just a crowd. They were co-authors of history. A Tier 1 eruption. The Paris crowd didn't just cheer Cena, they sang for him. Chants in English, French, even Italian filled the arena. Big Match John wasn't a US hero tonight, he was Europe's adopted champion. For Tier 1 fans in Germany, Switzerland, Norway, Cena isn't nostalgia, he's legacy. His bow in Paris resonated because Europe rarely gets a farewell this personal. Was this Cena's WrestleMania moment? Just relocated to Europe? Did Cena lose or win? Technically he won, but Logan Paul left Paris with validation. Psychology says Cena gave Logan credibility while protecting his own farewell aura. Why do the Wyatt Sicks hit harder in Nordic markets like Sweden, Denmark, Finland? Because chaos and mystique thrive in cold arenas. Uncle Howdy's cult psychology lands strongest in Europe's north. Paris was just the showcase. The Wyatt Sicks don't just win, they fracture others. Profits lost not from defeat, but from chaos infection. That's storytelling fans in the UK. And US understand, it's why stables draw money. For UK fans, Becky Lynch turning savior betrayer in the same night echoes her 2018 heel turn in Brooklyn. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. Europe's reaction was identical: shock, then respect. In Canada, fans see Becky's low blow as an evolution, not betrayal. Canadians respect grit. They know survival sometimes means bending morality. That's why Rollins-Lynch will stay hot in Canada long term. Every market, US, Germany, UAE, saw Roman stretchered out. For the first time in a decade, the aura cracked. Psychology says once fans see mortality, the tribal chief's reign is no longer invincible. Bronson Reed isn't just a monster heel anymore. His dominance in Paris makes him a global commodity. Europe, especially France and Spain, loves their larger-than-life heavyweights. Reed is that avatar. Bron Breakker spearing Roman through the table? That's a viral moment across TikTok Germany, YouTube UK, Twitter US. WWE knows. It wasn't random. It was planting seeds for Survivor Series. Did Paris just give us our next God Mode challenger? This wasn't nostalgia. Nikki Bella reinvented herself. Fans in Italy and Spain, markets where Nikki has always been huge, reacted like she was the star of the night. That's international booking logic. Becky retained against Nikki, then betrayed for Seth. Parallel storytelling. Survival in women's war. Betrayal in men's war. It's no coincidence. WWE layered her story across both divisions. Sheamus tapping out in Paris is symbolic. For Irish fans, pain. For UK Euro fans, shock. He's been the Celtic constant for 15 years. Seeing him break makes Rusev's push undeniable. For Bulgarian fans, for Eastern Europe, Rusev's win was cultural. WWE knows expanding East matters. Rusev breaking Sheamus wasn't just booking, it was strategy. This PLE proved Paris can carry big business. UK and Germany usually anchor Europe, but Paris's chants, chaos, and crowd? They demanded annual return. CM Punk didn't lose clean, he lost by Becky's betrayal. Psychology says he stays protected. Markets in the US and UK love Punk's anti-authority story. Becky handed him fuel for a storyline war. Even in defeat, LA Knight stayed hot. Paris popped for every yeah. It proves, Knight connects globally. From the US to UAE, catchphrases sell. Jey Uso's grit, working hurt after saving. Roman earlier, played in Paris, like Shawn Michaels in '97. Europeans love underdog resilience. Uso walked out a loser, but fans saw him as a warrior. Post Malone and Jelly Roll ringside? That's crossover booking. WWE planted cultural currency in US markets, but Paris benefited. Music plus wrestling was higher RPM content. Breakker's spear. Becky's betrayal. Cena's farewell. Seeds planted. Survivor Series is now the inevitable collision ground. But who headlines? Roman's ghost or Reed's monster? Paris treated Cena like royalty. Waves of Mercy Cena. Chants thundered through La Défense Arena. For France, this wasn't WWE, it was history. British fans watching saw echoes of Wembley. '92, when legends bow out on European soil. History lasts decades. Cena gave them that. In Germany, where Cena's merch has always sold heavy, fans saw this as validation. Cena's farewell isn't retirement, it's his European chapter closing. Canada will replay this forever. They've always seen Cena as more than a US hero. He's part of the global Mount Rushmore. Paris just gave them the last brick. For Aussie fans, watching Cena versus Logan meant watching influence versus legacy. Cena's win reassures them. Old school values still beat social media hype. By surviving Logan Paul's loaded right hand, Cena didn't just win, he made Logan credible. That's passing the torch without losing aura. Clash in Paris will live on WWE Network and YouTube forever. Cena's bow is evergreen content. Every market will relive it whenever a new star rises. In Sweden, Norway, Finland, the Wyatt Sicks click because mystique sells. Cold, eerie environments amplify cult chaos. UK fans saw Nikki Cross crawl from under the ring and popped instantly. They understand eerie. Characters, they've lived Bray. Wyatt's chapters for a decade. In Italy and Spain, Uncle Howdy is connecting like an anti-hero. They love operatic villains, and that's exactly what the Wyatt Sicks bring. For American fans, the Profits versus Wyatt Sicks wasn't just a match. It was a morality play. Heroes divided, villains united. Wyatt's booking logic is clear. Destroy families. From the Profits to New Day to even the Bloodline, the cult thrives on corruption. Cross isn't just interference, she's the infection. WWE knows female chaos sells in markets like Canada and the UK, she's their wild card. Howdy isn't Bray Wyatt, but he is legacy extended. Fans in UAE and Germany see him as both mystery and continuation. That ambiguity sells. Every clip of the Wyatt Sicks eerie entrances gets replayed in Europe. From mist to lanterns, it's aesthetic evergreen. Ford and Dawkins nearly cracked in Paris. That slow burn fracture is what WWE banks on because breakups draw clicks across all markets. Who do the Wyatt Sicks infect next? That's the hook. Paris wasn't the end, it was infection spreading. Roman strapped to a stretcher in Paris is the image that cracked God mode. For years, Roman's aura was invincible. Paris shifted psychology. Mortality equals vulnerability. American fans debated instantly. Was this the end of tribal chief dominance or the start of comeback fire? European fans don't often see Roman live. To watch him break in Paris made it seismic. Germany, where Roman is a top draw, saw Reed Breakker crush him and instantly rallied behind the monster heel act. In the UAE, Roman's aura carries cultural pride. Mortality doesn't mean weakness. It means resurrection is coming. Reed isn't a mid-carder anymore. He's main event tier globally now. Paris proved it. Bron Breakker isn't waiting. Paris positioned him as disruptor. Future world champion waiting. Mortality in Paris sets up resurrection or dethroning at Survivor Series. When Roman bleeds, merch spikes. Mortality paradoxically fuels sales. WWE knows. Nikki Bella's Paris performance erased nostalgia. She came back ruthless, not remembered. Becky endured tables, steps, fearless locks. This wasn't clean dominance, it was war psychology. Nikki popped hardest in Italy and Spain. That's where Bella still headlined fan bases. For Irish fans, Becky retaining in Paris was validation of national pride. Becky saving herself versus Nikki, then saving Seth versus Punk, that's layered psychology. Fans in Europe loved seeing Becky headline stakes equal to men's matches. It's parody storytelling. Clips of Nikki's Bella Buster on steps will replay for years. Evergreen heel visuals. Canada and UK view Becky not as a heel or face, but as inevitable. That draws. Paris positioned Becky-Nikki as template. High stakes. Brutality evergreen. Expect Becky-Nikki rematch or team war at Survivor Series. Paris set the path. Whiskey barrels, stools, tables. Paris saw destruction fit for Europe. Sheamus has anchored Europe for 15 years. His tap-out stunned markets. Rusev made Bulgaria proud. Paris gave him Euro redemption. When Sheamus tapped, Irish fans fell silent. Rarely do warriors break. The accolade atop barrels symbolized old-school submission dominance. Eastern Europe gains hero cred. WWE always wants that expansion. Sheamus delivering white noise through tables was highlight reel evergreen. By breaking Sheamus, WWE builds Rusev into Euro monster. Sheamus now redemption arc. Rusev future Euro captain. Paris gave Europe its own feud. A blood war timeless in replay. That one strike will replay forever. Its betrayal visual gold. UK fans still debating, Becky savior or traitor. That's retention gold. Americans see it as heel turn, classic territory booking. Canadians argue Becky's loyalty, Punk's righteousness. Market psychology at work. By losing via betrayal, Punk stays hot. He wasn't beaten, he was robbed. Seth now draws nuclear heat globally because he needed Becky. Rollins versus Punk versus Knight versus Uso continues, with Becky now in play. She fought Nikki, betrayed Punk. Her Paris arc overshadowed all. Paris fans left arguing, not cheering. That's peak PPV impact. Clash in Paris 2025 gave us mortality. Farewell, cult chaos, Euroblood feud, and betrayal. WWE doesn't just book matches, they book eras. Don't miss Sami Zayn's shocking US title win. Click here now.